Hi, Jade. How are you today?
I'm good.
Are you good or are you good?
Well, I've seen better days.
Okay, how's your week been? What's been on your mind?
You know, I've had a long week, right? It's Saturday. I went through the whole week working but some things happen over the past few days that I just can't get out of my mind.
Okay, like what? Elaborate a little bit more.
So we've talked about my boyfriend before, and so
we have.
You know the story of how I thought that it was gonna be me and him, and he really disappointed me, and I don't know how to take it. I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to move forward from the situation.
So what are your main concerns? Like what's making you feel like this?
Well, I guess the easiest way to do this is just to explain what happened.
Yeah, start from the beginning and let it all out, and whatever's on your mind, just put it all on the table.
Okay.
Okay.
So, he's a businessman, and he had to fly in one of his close friends who has become like family to be a part of the business.
Okay.
And it's a woman, and they're really close, which doesn't bother me, but everyone has their reservations when someone of the opposite sex comes into a relationship in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So because he's a good hostess, she's staying with him until she can, find somewhere else to live. And I was okay with it. I helped him get everything ready for her to come.
Okay.
He was, spending the night at my house. Everything was good. He was calling me every morning, seeing me every day. No complaints. And then he goes to pick her up from the airport, and I call him, and he doesn't answer.
Okay.
And I wait the whole day. I actually went to go see him, and I met her, and she's really nice, and we hung out. Nothing that I saw that was weird. I thought it was all cool.
Okay.
And I left, and then he didn't call me for the rest of the day, but he was supposed to help me do something else at 7, so I texted him at 6:40, and I called him, and I was like, hey, where are you? And he's like, oh, unfortunately, I won't be able to come. I'm like, your tone is different.
Okay.
You don't answer the phone that way. You always, hey, baby, how are you? You're not. And then you're just not coming somewhere that you're expected to be, and you don't feel like you have to be accountable.
Okay.
To me.
And how did his actions at this point make you feel?
It made me feel like he forgot about me.
Okay.
Like, I felt like we were on a good track. I felt like we were doing everything right, and then all of a sudden, the only thing that changed was this friend of his who's, came, and now he can't call me. He doesn't feel like he has to be accountable to me, and it's not fair. So okay. I feel hurt. I feel like betrayed almost.
And in your eyes, how the feeling of betrayal, like what sparked that? Do you feel like it's more so of the other factor as far as the woman, the new person that's in his life, business partner, or do you feel like it's more of his actions that's making you feel the betrayal? Like what sparked?
It's definitely his actions. Like, and I assume it's because of her, because she's the only thing that has changed.
Okay.
His workload is still the same, and the only difference is now she's here to help with all the business stuff. But I feel like up until that point, he was always like not accountable, but we owe each other something. I deserve a phone call.
Mm-hmm.
He acknowledged that I deserve a phone call. If he's not going to be somewhere, he would tell me. Mm-hmm. He's a timely person. He's dependable. And the fact that he just didn't even think to say, hey, I know you expected me to be here, but I'm not going to be there, that hurts.
And at that moment when he said that he couldn't be there for what you needed him to be there for, do you think that, like, based on like what he said, did that prompt you to lead to any other actions or feel any other type of way, or did it unpack any past feelings that may have, brought you to this point of feeling how you're feeling now?
Yeah, so definitely had some after actions. After that, I responded. I called him, asked him. He said, "No, I'm not coming." And then I just hung up and I texted him why. And he gave me some excuse like, "Oh, I'm going to the store." And it's a store I know he never goes to. So I'm like, even more suspicious then, because I'm like, "Why are you going to the store that you said you don't like?" And then I just told him, like, "You are being inconsiderate. And it's not fair. And this is how this is going to be, the situation with you basically choosing her over me, because that's what it seems like. If that's how it's going to be, I want nothing to do with it."
So are you, based on this situation, are you prompted to reconcile with him, or are you prompted to just end the relationship?
I really do love him. I care about him. I thought we had a connection that I haven't had with anyone else.
Okay.
That seems cliche, and people say, "Oh, you're young, you have a million people, there's many fish in the sea," but when you find something good, someone once told me if the good outweighs the bad, then you keep it. And I feel like the good outweighed the bad until this point, because that is something we talked about, was if you say you're going to do something, do it.
Right.
If you're busy, I need you to still acknowledge me. I'm not asking to take up all of your time. I'm just asking that you tell me where you are, or acknowledge that I'm there and thinking it. Like, it's not that hard. And the fact that he couldn't do that, I don't know if I want to be with someone who doesn't respect my feelings enough. Because it's not like he didn't know how I felt. He knew, we talked about it, and he still chose to not show up. Well, he did show up, and that's the problem. That's
so he didn't show up on like your time, like when you wanted him. He showed up when he had time.
Yeah.
So do you think that, because we've talked previously, do you think that because this is a new relationship, that some feelings could come up that you really don't, or some actions from him can come up that you really haven't seen, and maybe, because we're all human and we all have feelings, do you think this is a side of him you've never seen before, and that's why you're, reacting in a sense that, you're confused?
Yeah.
Because he's never showed you this side? Is that maybe the reason where your feelings are coming about,
I think that's exactly it. And I really shouldn't be shocked, because it hasn't been that long, like you said. And you never truly know a person, and you have to see a person when they're mad, when they're stressed, when they're sleep deprived. And I haven't seen him in all those situations, and now I'm seeing him in this,
and you don't like it,
and I don't like it.
Okay. So what do you wish he would have said that would not put you in a place of betrayal or frustration or confusion? Like, how do you think the situation could have played out to not have you feeling the way you do now?
If he would have called me first.
Okay.
And said, "Hey, I know that I'm supposed to be there, but I'm really busy. I can't make it tonight. I'm sorry." We would not be here.
Okay. So if he would have just, I guess, taken a moment and just explained the situation before, I guess, or just explain, himself, so you can have a peace of mind that I understand where you're coming from and I want to help. And because he didn't do that, you're in a position where you don't know the situation, you don't know how you really feel. So I think that in all situations, like you really don't know where somebody is coming or who somebody is unless you have a long period of time to get to know them and get to understand them and who they are and what they feel and what makes them mad, what makes them sad, what makes them happy, and vice versa. So I think that, and I'm hearing everything you're saying, and I just want to take some time through this week to actually write down, I guess, just some thoughts and feelings that just come about instead of keeping it balled up and to yourself. Just write it down and express yourself on paper and then read it back to yourself so you can also understand why you feel like you feel in a situation. And I think once we tackle that, I think we can open up for some additional counseling sessions to actually get through why you may feel the way you feel when a guy in particular treats you a certain way. And I think if we can open up the book on that chapter and dive in to why you may feel a certain way when somebody does a certain thing, I think we can get to the root cause of this situation. Because I think it's much deeper than just this situation.
Yeah, it definitely is.
What do you think about that?
I think you're right. It's definitely deeper than it. My parents were divorced when I was really young, and my dad would always say, "Oh, I'll be here at 6 to pick you guys up." We only went to his house every other weekend. We lived with my mom, me and my two brothers, and he would always say, "Yeah, I'll be there." And we'd be, because our parents weren't talking. We'd be there standing at the driveway, like with our luggage, like waiting on Dad. He wouldn't show up. He wouldn't call to say, "I'm not coming." The whole day would go by. We'd be crying like, "Man, my dad just left us," And he'd call the next morning, like nothing happened, and just say, "Oh yeah, I'll be there today."
Okay.
So it's deeper.
It's more of a childhood hurt and pain than your reaction to this one situation in a relationship. So I want you to do this. Write down your thoughts, write down your feelings throughout the week, just what comes to mind, and try not to, attach yourself to this situation and him during this week. Like if he texts you, okay, but don't put all your energy into, I guess, understanding why he did what he did, but instead look internally and say, well, how could I have reacted differently in order to make the situation a little better? Because we're human. We all get upset, we all get mad, but our reactions and our feelings come from sometimes from a place of past experiences. I don't want somebody to treat me this certain way, so I'm to take a defense mechanism in order to not be hurt. So let's do this week. Write down your thoughts and feelings, whatever comes to mind. Do some self-care, and also do some self-reflection. If it takes meditation, if it takes music. I know you're a singer, so if you have to let it out through song, write a song, poem, or whatever, but get your feelings written down on paper so you can have like a tangible, method to understand yourself so you can understand other people.
Okay.
And I think we're going to be good.
Yes.
So come back next week and we'll just discuss some more.
Yeah. Thank you. I have a weight lifted off of my shoulder.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll definitely talk next week and hopefully we have some progress and really dig deep and dive deep into how you're feeling and if it helped any.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right. I'll see you next week.
See you next week.
For real, counselor? I just can't. Okay. Okay, I'm ready. Cause like it took you forever. I'm like, is she coming? Or, like, I don't know.
Hello.
Hi. What brings you in today? Well, that's a stupid.
Is this a salon?
What brings you in today? Oh my gosh.
Do you have your eyebrows done?
Jesus. Okay. I literally have what brings you in, but I don't want to say what brings you in. I just want to say like,
Hey, how are you? What's on your mind? How's your week been?
okay.